Peace to the tribe and collective. It's the Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com. Link is in the descriptions. White Rabbit Psychedelics and colombianexchange.com. Today we're going to be talking about, well, today is a daily energy reading, and I'll be doing these consistently as much as I can, as often as I can, and just stay consistent with the energy. These are not going to be long videos, so if there's any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave it in the comments or leave it in the chat, and I'll get to you promptly. Today, I just decided that I'm going to do this and commit to this. And so, with that being said, the way that we do it is that we simply go with the energy of the day. So the sun would be for Sunday, the moon would be Monday, Mars would be Tuesday, Mercury would be Wednesday, Jupiter would be Thursday, Venus would be Friday, Saturn would be Saturday, and we will look at the aspects concerning those planets on those days. More or less, it's going to be occultism, spirituality, and astrology. There'll be different themes, different things I'll talk about in each of these videos. The reason that I'm doing this video now is because it's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and in about an hour it's going to be dark. And I plan on doing these early in the morning before I start my day outside, just to talk about the energy while being in energy. Beyond that, though, I want to say where all of this is coming from. Full disclosure, I was doing a reading, and so be sure to click the link in my bio, hoodmystic.com. On the right hand side, it's book of reading. You can click that, and once you click that, book a reading, man, because they are completely eye opening and transforming experiences. So beyond that, it was actually somebody that I used to talk to for years, basically. A lot of people that I know, like I've been knowing them for years. And so we had a wonderful, amazing reading. And then the subject of daily energy readings had came up. And I was just like, yeah. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but like it was a time where I was living with my in-laws, and so I really couldn't do content like I wanted to do content. I was trying to get myself on my feet. And so in that time, I stopped doing daily energy readings because like I couldn't talk the way I wanted to talk in my in-laws' house. So beyond that point, um, I had moved, and so I got my own spot, and so I've been doing content a little bit more. But I think for me, my channel and what really was like satisfying me was doing the daily energy readings. So I put a lot of energy, a lot of thought, a lot of like a lot of stuff behind those daily energy readings. I don't know if they'll be like that now, but at the same time, I'll continue to do them. And if I got the time, I'm going to for sure do them, make it a consistent effort to do my note taking at night, and first thing in the morning, discuss the daily energy. So, with all of that being said, I want to discuss the energy for today, which is going to be in reference to the sun because it is Sunday. If we look at the bottom of the screen, and that's not even what, that's a damn chart. So, give me a second. Let me make sure that ain't the chart either. So let's get it right and exact. Like I say, book you a reading. Um, it's like I understand this cycle because, like for me, My moon is in Gemini. I might as well show y'all what I'm talking about better than I can tell y'all. So make sure you understand your transit chart. Each week we giving out worksheets so you can, study your transit chart. And with that being said, like, study your chart. Use these times to pull your chart out and study it. Because no matter what you do in life, no matter how many degrees you get, no matter how many sneaky links you accomplish in your life, your greatest benefit of all time will be studying your chart. So when I'm online and you watching a video, just take this time to pull out your chart, do just what I did. Look for the sidereal transit chart, put in your birthday, and put in the day of whatever day this is, right? And then on the outside ring is going to be the energy of the day, and on the inside ring is going to be the energy of your chart. So as y'all can see, my moon is in Gemini. Well, y'all can't see, but now y'all can see. Give me 1 second. Mm-mm-mm. There we go. Shout out to y'all. Make sure you bring out your chart and study your chart. Okay. Study your transits. Study your chart. Study the energy of the day. That's where you'll get your knowledge from. I can help by being consistent with the information, but you got to do your part in understanding your chart. So if you look at this particular space in the chart, Sun, Mercury, Venus at the bottom, that is the energy of the day. The moon and Gemini, that's where my moon is at. So when you think about Gemini energy and evolved Gemini energy, it's that of like a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a social worker, a tarot reader. You can do all of these things because at the end of the day, people interact with you on a mental level and they are healed at a mental level. At an unevolved level, you are just a crazy person. Okay? So, one's in the chat if you understand what I said about Gemini, because there in each planet is an evolved aspect and there is a devolved aspect. For Gemini, it's basic mental illness, but at the lower level and at the higher level, it is that of a consultant, of a healer, of a psychologist, things of that nature. So my moon is in this energy. So I'm part crazy and I'm part healer. So the sun entering this energy in my chart, this would be my third house, my house of communication. I know the trick for me. The trick for me is just being consistent and not giving up and making sure my energy is together. But as long as those things are consistent, I would be good to go. So it had flipped over here. This is my ninth house, and Gemini being the third house of communication. I know that everywhere that I need to go is in me doing my work. If you look at my chart, my moon is conjunct my midhaven. So this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing for my life. This is really my life's work. And it just seems to work out for me as opposed to just different other areas of my chart. But when you study your chart, figure out what house Gemini is. In our last worksheet, we were talking about this, and I hope that you did the worksheet. I hope that you did some mental health awareness because I'm telling you, if you're able to do the work, you're able to evolve. And when you're able to evolve, you're able to heal and be in that level of mental awareness that you want to be in. And like the Kabbalah says, the mind is off. So maybe you got your aesthetic right, maybe you got your money right, but if your mind isn't right, it's going to be hard to move and matriculate through life. So, is your mental health together? in relation to wounds, in relation to heartbreak, in relation to expectations within your relationship, within your career, right? Like doing some real self reflection time is the time of Gemini. And if you're able to evolve the energy, it's like people in the background being super loud. So I'm gonna be doing these in the morning when the energy is more calmed down because this is the D. So the thing about Detroit is like it's centered in chaos. Like you just never know what's about to happen when it's about to happen. But I love it though at the same time because I'm a chaos being. So what we also want to look at in the chart, bringing it back to the original chart, is two things. We want to look at the Sabian symbol of the sun, and we also want to look at the energy that is transpiring, which would be the sun squared Neptune, right? The sun squared Neptune is a particular energy that's centered in experience, spiritual experience, and the truth is, not many people deal with spiritual experience. And so let me explain that a little bit further. Let me explain that a little bit further. I titled this episode of the daily energy reading, The Menu. And the reason that I titled that is because it can easily be related to the spiritual journey. When we buy all of the books, we attend all of the lectures, we show up for all of the readings, we conceptualize and mentalize and connect with people. We go to botanicas, we go to crystal stores, we go to more bookstores, we order books on Amazon, we take notes, we go over our notes, we create blog pages, we do all of these things that represent the menu. But when we're talking about the food, do you know what the food is? Right? Do you know what the food tastes like? Think about this. If you only went to restaurants to look at the menu, you would never know what none of the food tastes like. And you would be judging the restaurants based on the menu design and the font. But that's not really the purpose of a restaurant. You can have a shitty menu and have really good food. So when it comes to spiritual development and the spiritual journey, you need not fixate on the menu and you need to focus on the food. That makes a lot of sense to me. But at the same time, I know how this spiritual game goes. So that would be my purpose for having this conversation with y'all. Let's not talk about the food. Let's not talk about the menu. Let's talk about the particular food and how it tastes. So I want to take a look at the Sabian symbol that we were discussing, which is Gemini 5. Gemini 5 says that you are to go beyond your established limits. And it gives you a directive on how to go beyond your established limits. If we read this first sentence, and I'll explain it in scientific terms, but I'll just read the sentence in reference to the astrological correspondence. Any sustained push in one direction must inevitably trigger a pushback of equal intensity, such is life at root. What this is basically talking about is Newton's third law, which states that Newton's third law of motion states that for every action or force in nature, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That means when one object exerts a force on another, the second object exerts an equal force back in the opposite direction. The forces involved are called action and reaction forces. So basically, what that is saying is that when you're Beyonce, you might have to deal with a level of demonic and devilish entity and energy that you couldn't fathom. You might have to deal with sacrifices at a level that you personally couldn't fathom if you was a manager at Walmart. Like if you want to be a star, you might have to take one of your family members off. And so one would say, nah, I don't want to be a star that bad. And some people say, I want to be a star that bad. Cousin, I never really liked you like that in the first place. And off you go. So what this is basically saying to me is that when you are in this energy and you want to grow, you have to understand the personal experience required to get to where you want to get to. And where you want to get to is going to require some form or level of sacrifice. But then when we look up the etymology of sacrifice, it's not what you think it is. Etymology, it means a making sacred. What does sacred mean? Sacred means hallowed or consecrated, made holy by association with divinity or divine things, by religious ceremony or sanction. So these words can also be confusing unless you just look at the word hallowed. Hollow is very simple, it's very easy to understand. You must be empty of the ego's mental pursuits, emotions, and ideas. Be so empty and be so prepared for what Source has to have for you. And that's the experience, the inner experience. So, sacred, in reference to your energy, would be relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, and meditating. That is the way that you eat the food. If you don't meditate, all you're going to be doing is paying money to see the menu. One's in the chat if that makes sense. And so we're dealing with a sun, we're dealing with a Sunday, and I had it pulled up, see if I can pull it up again. Give me 1 second. You know, it's always better to show you than it is to tell you if that is available. So it is a book. It's kind of old, not necessarily old. It's a 2023 edition. The year really doesn't matter, right? It's a moon journal. However, I will update it for 2024 and 2025 because it doesn't matter the year as long as you're charting your life based upon the moon signs. And so when I say spirituality, occult, and astrology, I'm going to give you some spiritual tools every day that can help you eat the spiritual food, right? And this is a Sunday. Sunday is called a target day, and your focus will be the root chakra. So, what is your target for the week? Tomorrow, you're going to wake up. It's going to be Monday. Tomorrow, you're going to wake up. It's going to be Monday, right? It's going to be a whole new week. Do you have a spiritual target? Are you going to sleep knowing what your target is for the remainder of the week? Think about how much power that is. Think about if you knew where to direct the energy so you can manifest it through each chakra throughout each day, because each planet is connected to a chakra, which is connected to an actual modality that you can utilize. But what the conversation that I had today in my reading was that we tend to go about the spiritual path all willy nilly, doing whatever we want to do, however we want to do it, and that's not really sacred. One would be hollowed and empty and have a disciplined structure and reference to spiritual modalities if they had a way to do spirituality on a day-to-day basis. And not to say that somebody needs to hold your hand, but definitely in spirituality someone needs to hold you accountable. Business, somebody needs to hold you accountable. Relationship, somebody needs to hold you accountable. Spirituality, somebody needs to hold you accountable. And for me, I had to look within myself and really be in my intuition and say what is going to make me happy right now the most, and that's to do a video. So my target is to do a video every day and remind people of the energy of the chakra, what you can do with that particular chakra, and how you can incorporate your intentions into the chakra. So without further ado, right, let's talk about specifically what I'm talking about. Specifically what I'm talking about. And of course, you can get into Chakra Nova Chapter 1 to get an extensive read onto this. Just go to the link in the description, hoodmystic.com, or simply Google Chakra Nova, and the book is going to pop up. It's a perfume called Chakra Nova, but I'm basically the only person with a book called Chakra Nova. And what you would learn and what you would read in that book is a yogic technique called the root lock or mula bandha. And simply what you're doing is you're taking your intention, you're breathing your intention down into your perineum, and then you're grabbing it with your Kegel muscle, or you know what I mean? That Kegel muscle that I don't know what you actually call it, right? But it's basically a Kundalini gland, right? And your Kundalini gland is representing your spiritual intelligence. And from here, you can have spiritual experiences through certain yogas and certain meditations. When you are breathing deeply and you are locking that root, you are activating the root chakra. And years of doing this work, I've actually activated my root chakra and changed my life and changed other people's life through this technique. And so tonight, as you go to sleep, one of the powerful things that you can begin to do is take an idea, breathe deep into your womb, breathe deep into your perineum muscle, and once it gets down to the base of your spine, grab it with your Kegel muscle, grab it with your Kundalini gland, and hold it for 4 seconds and release it and repeat. The reality now is that in the space of this world, if you are not meditating, if you are not having psychedelic experiences, then you're in the space where you don't know. And that space of I don't know is a scary space in a world that is changing a lot. And then you may say, I want another person to tell me what to do. When you have the most powerful soul known to man within your vessel, but you haven't ate the food. You haven't had the experience, and therefore you're trying to figure out what menu looks the best. Okay? Fuck the menu. It's time to eat the food. And the food is within you. This is something that we must understand and overstand. Let's talk about two more things and then we out of here. Let's talk about the dark side of spiritual enlightenment. The reason why I called this title the menu, because if your spiritual development isn't bringing you inner experience, it is mind fuckery. You know how many times people have texted me and called me and said, "Oh, I got a reading from such and such. I did a such and such cleanse with such and such, but it didn't really do nothing." But they charged you $100 for that shit. They charged you $200 for that shit, and you just giving out $200, and then you like being evicted from your house, and you just paying for this stuff. That's mind fuckery. What's wrong is that you don't meditate. What's wrong is that you don't eat food. Period. If you don't eat food, what is food? Spiritual enlightenment, you going to be starved. Spiritual enlightenment, let's look up the etymology of spirit. Breathe, breath, spirit. Does anybody breathe for you? Does anybody eat for you? Or do you do these things unto yourself? We're looking for something that is within us. And so the techniques that I present to you are to bring about an inner experience. And the reality is, if I'm doing it every other day, if I'm doing it when I feel like it, the repetition needed is not going to be a thing. It's like if you're trying to build a river and you dig a ditch every 2 feet, the water is not going to be able to travel. You got to continuously, repetitionally dig a ditch continuously. You can't stop and then stop digging, then the river is going to stop. So when we talk about spiritual development, when we talk about meditation, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's boring. Yes, it's not the funnest thing in the world. Yes, it's not entertaining as a lot of content creators. No, it's not as pretty as a lot of content creators. But if you do not experience inside of yourself, you're going to starve. Stop reading the menu. Spiritual enlightenment is not meant to be figured out. It's so hard to sit on your ass and say, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just here for the experience. I'm just here to raise Kundalini. Because raising Kundalini and wanting things external to you, they can't exist at the same time. You have to be okay with life, where you are in life, and you have to meditate without wanting a man, without trying to figure out your life. And you may have to meditate more than you're doing. If you're meditating once a week, you got to meditate every day. If you're meditating for 5 minutes, you got to at least meditate for 30 minutes. You got to know within your day that you meditated. And maybe you can progress into walking meditation, but you can't start at walking meditation. You got to start at separating from the space. And when you know you're having the spiritual experience, these are some things that have happened to me. Comment some spiritual experiences that you've had during meditation. I went into a wormhole and came out in a whole nother dimension where I was being rescued and guided to my next situation instantly. I was in a bad situation. I meditated, went into a wormhole. My friend Miracle called me up out of the meditation and said she was about to pick me up. This was back in the days I was in the trap house. I was in the trap house meditating at the bottom, doing security. And I came out of my meditation and Miracle called me. She was 4 hours away. She like, what you doing? I said, I'm sitting here on the trap house. She like, I miss you. I want to see you. I'm about to come pick you up. Tell me why this girl drove 4 hours, picked me up, drove 4 hours back, and we just chilling in her crib the weekend. While I'm sitting there in her crib, they tell me that the trap got raided. Trap house got raided. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, I'm with Miracle. And she literally brought me into a miracle. And this all started from my meditation. Cause we was doing some stuff in there, boy. I'd have been, I'd have been locked up for real. Not no baby time. The second thing that happens during the spiritual experience, and it's more than one spiritual experience, be sure to comment a spiritual experience that you had, right? Because you will hear far and few between on comments and reference to spiritual experiences through meditation. Because that's the food. Most people will eat the menu and call it sustenance. Will eat the video and call it sustenance. It's not sustenance, it's paper. I was listening to music, my own music, and I went into trance. And I went so deep inside of myself, I seen a goddess made of pure flames. And she was circling around me. She had a body made of pure fire. And she was just circling around me. And she was like, don't forget where you at, because you gonna have a story to tell people one day. Now, this was the house that I was living at. I was homeless before I was living in that house. So, when you homeless, you trying to move anywhere for real. I was in a shelter. So I leave the shelter. We basically move into a shack. Like if the wind blow, like we feel the wind blowing type shit. It's like it's windy in this house. It was crazy. It was the house that, it was the first house that the goddamn wolf blew down with the three little pigs. It was a house made of sticks, right? And it was crazy. It was like, and it was in a street where it's like a couple nice houses in the middle. It's just this shack. But you get what you can get. We was happy that we wasn't living in the shelter, but I was just sitting in the car. The car had broke down. I ain't have no money. I was catching a bus to work, and I was just meditating, listening to my music, and I got into such a deep trance that I seen this fire goddess within me, and she was speaking to me. She was like, "Don't forget where you at. Remember where you at. Always remember where you at, because you gonna always have a story to tell." Now you gotta understand, in the midst of that situation, I don't understand or overstand the future for me. I just got hope. I just got hope. Literally, I just hope that things will work out, but I don't know how it's going to work out. But that was years ago. It was pretty spot on. And now I can understand and overstand what that experience was talking about. So I don't care where you at or what you're going through. If you able to meditate deep enough and eat the food, one's in the chat if y'all understand what I'm talking about when I differentiate the menu from eating the food. Two's in the chat or if you completely confused, because I will repeat it. I don't mind repeating it because that's the point of this video, for you to understand and understand spiritual concepts on a daily basis and apply it within your spiritual development. I don't care where you at in life. You can definitely level up through meditation, but you have to meditate deep. You have to relax the body deeper. You have to relax the mind deeper. If you got major issues pressing on your heart, and these are the things that you really concerned about. You know, the girl called you daddy all year. Daddy, daddy, it's yours, daddy, it's yours, daddy. It's Father's Day. She didn't even send you a text. And now you feeling like I can't really meditate for real, hood. Why I'm daddy when I'm in the guts, but on Father's Day she don't send me a card, text, or nothing. I can't meditate because I can't get clear. You can meditate no matter what situation you is, because meditation is not in relation to what you experience on the external, and that's where mugs will scam you at. You think it's a place, you think it's somewhere, you think it's a thing, but really it's none of that. So make sure you're able to kind of clear your mind, be hollowed, be consecrated, and be prepared to channel source. I had a really intense dream last night, and it was like my mom was there, and my grandmother was there, and my daughter was there, and I was handing my daughter to my grandmother, and that was my dream. I don't know why I'm sharing that, but it just was like I can just understand and understand the portals that is opening up through the Scorpio energy, right? That gateway of celestial divine feminine energy. And I never thought that I was even going to have a daughter. So I understand that my daughter is a miracle. And that's even deeper because I named my daughter Naomi, and Naomi is actually my great grandmother's name, right? So that's even deeper of the energy. So that brings me into the final topic that I want to discuss with y'all before we get up out of here. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you like the video if you've been watching it this far and have not liked it yet. It really does wonders for the algorithm. You know, the videos that people like will be the videos that get views. And if people don't like them, um, YouTube think that don't nobody like the video. So if you do like the video, please like it, right? I'm talking this spiritual miracle, so I know you're not here for no reason. So please take 2 seconds out your day and hit that like button. And if you extra freaky, like you get real nasty, share the video on your social medias, right? Let people know the daily energy reading is back popping again. Hood Mystic got the daily energy readings back popping. And you know, we can always open up the StreamYard if y'all want to do those face-to-face joints again. I'm gonna definitely open it up to my Patreon and my Substack subscribers. If you want to take part in any of those, please click the first link in the description, which would be hoodmystic.com. So I want to talk about the astrologics, and then I'll talk what it actually means. Today is Sunday, and we are dealing with a, give me a second, I don't know what happened to it. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know what's going on. Let's just do it like this because I don't even feel like it. So we have the sun square Neptune, and it was just the regular chart. You would see that is conjunct. I might as well just do the whole shebang, huh? Might as well do the whole shebang, shebang, bang. Really don't matter, huh? We here now. Because I want to show you something specific. And if you follow me, you can see this is how you look at the daily sidereal charts. It's a sidereal. Voila, a sidereal chart. So I want to point out is that Neptune is exactly conjuncting the vertex and it's squaring the sun in the first decan of Gemini. So this is what we're talking about. When we talk about a square, we're talking about a challenge, but a challenge is not end all be all. Is more or less if you're able to come to the challenge and defend the challenge and win during the challenge, you'll be able to succeed. Most successful people don't look at challenges as means of giving up. They look at points to get stronger. So let's talk about vertex. The vertex is a sensitive point in the natal chart that represent significant encounters, destiny, and karmic connections. So we're dealing with Neptune. So Neptune is the planet of spiritual development, and spiritual development is not something that you buy at a course. It's not something that you can purchase. It's not something that you can buy. It's not something that you can get cute for. They're not going to tell you that you're too ugly, you're too fat to have a spiritual experience. It has nothing to do with that. It's not going to say, oh, you poor. It's not going to say, oh, you made bad decisions. It's not going to say, oh, you got 5 baby daddies. It's not going to say none of that. When it comes to spiritual connection, the physical does not matter. The only thing that matters is that you're willing to do the work. And when we're referencing the vertex, this is an opportunity for significant encounters, destiny, and karmic connections. So I urge you to meditate. I'm begging you to meditate. Please meditate tonight. Please clear your mind. Please empty your mind from all your problems, stresses, and have a target. Think big. I need that sound. Think big, bitch. Right? Set a financial goal 50K, 20K, 100K. Do some root locks on the modality of 20K. And then when the money gets low, then that's when you know that the shit is working. It is also associated with pivotal moments, fated events, and soulmate connections. One of the key words to soulmate is soul. You don't utilize your soul by living a regular life, going, making sure you up to work early in the morning. Cultivating your soul comes from meditation. And the reality of doing the spiritual work, the meditation work, you are easy to attract a lover. You are easy to attract a lover if you're meditating consistently. If you meditate and work out, you damn near got to walk around with a bat to keep these girls up off you. You damn near got to walk around with a bat to keep these women up off you. So, with that being said, meditate if you lonely. Meditate if you broke. Meditate if you homeless. Meditate if you're in any type of situation. But don't worry about your situation because when you get a mansion, when you get a car, when you get a job, guess what you're still going to have to do? You still going to have to meditate. When you're a millionaire, guess what you're still going to have to do? Meditate. When you make that big move and get that house that you work so hard for, guess what you're still going to have to do? Meditate. When planets align with vertex, they can trigger profound experience and catalyze spiritual growth. Spiritual growth. This is a good time for you to stop looking at the menu, decide what you want to eat, and feast. There's a spiritual abundance, but you have to differentiate spirituality from scrolling on TikTok to having the meditative experience. I will say it was much easier to meditate when I wasn't scrolling on Twitter. I'm not even going to lie. It was much easier to meditate when I didn't have social media. But it is what it is. I still have to meditate, even if it's for 5 minutes. When Neptune aligns with the vertex in a conjunction aspect, their energies merge, creating a powerful catalyst for spiritual awakening and destiny fulfillment. This alignment signifies a period of heightened intuition, spiritual insight, and divine guidance. Individuals may experience profound encounters, synchronicity, and mystical experiences that propel them along their destined path. My thing is, don't get excited if you're not trying to meditate. Don't hope for things for that, things is going to get so much better if you're not actually going to quiet the mind and go deep within yourself and have the experience. You're going to continuously let go, and when you're done, you're going to just get deeper into the meditation. So let's look at this. On May 25th, I put out an article that I think you should read. And what we're talking about is the Neptune textile to Uranus, that energy, this minor grand trine between Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune is ushering the Great Awakening. Now, if you OGs in the game, if you OGs in the game, if you are OGs in the game, then you remember how deep it was in the Facebook, YouTube days. That energy is coming back. It might be more community based. It might be moving to a different country. But the way to connect to your people is through the transpersonal planets, not the personal planets. And that's a major key. Right? That's a major, major key. So, with all of that being said, we're back on it with the daily energy readings. Some videos may be longer, some videos may be shorter, but I'm going to organize a show before I go to sleep. So before I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to organize a show for Monday, and the shows will range around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on when I wake up. I'll do a show, go to the gym, and take care of some business, and just keep it regular. So with that being said, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Like the video if you may, share the video if you please, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, tell a friend that tell a friend. Hood in the Morning is back with that daily energy readings. Shout out to you, because without y'all I wouldn't be here. So I appreciate you tapping in and tuning in. But the biggest thing that you can do, even if you don't like the video, share, subscribe. If you're not doing none of that stuff, eat the food. Okay, have the experience, and from there you don't have nothing to worry about. But that's been the show, man. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
You see, the mind can only focus on one thing at a time. The mind cannot focus on two things at once.
Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. Your favorite mystics are traveling with the Hood Mystic.